security domains. It's my pleasure to introduce the trainer, Mr. Sachin Hissaria, who is a chartered accountant, a certified ethical hacker, CISA certified, a trainer, consultant, and a passionate speaker having experience over 10 years. He has been imparting knowledge to aspirants of CISA, CEH, and other IT certifications. He has been actively involved in various organizations, handling the internal and external audit assignments related to IT audit, SOX compliance, IT disaster recovery, and business continuity. Best wishes to all the participants. And now, Sachin sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Asta, for the quick introduction. So I hope I am audible to everyone. Can you confirm?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes, you can.
So we'll just start our session
Yes, sir.
and I will share my screen and let me know once the screen is visible to you. Okay. I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll just start, guys. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as per your respective time zone. We are here for the ITIS audit interview preparation. Earlier, also, we did a same kind of webinar. Okay, so in that webinar, we have just discussed the common question if you are appearing for IT or IS interview. Basically, you will see four different type of category questions in your interview, starting with your introduction, whatever interview you are appearing. It always start with the introduction, so you have to give your introduction. Then there would be space, few questions which are related to the roles, what roles you are applying. Few questions are related to the operational and situation, and few questions are based on the behavior. So interviewer will give you some situation, and they will ask you that what will you do in this situation. And few questions they will ask you to test your behavior. That suppose if you have given a multiple task at a time, what will you do? How will you do? So they will try to test your confidence level, and they will try to see that in this scenario how you will behave. So, all those aspects we have covered in our part one of the webinar. So, suppose if someone who have not attended to that webinar, I will provide you the link for the same. Okay. It was a detailed discussion of 2 hours where we have discussed a lot of questions, and this webinar is a second part of the IT audit interview preparation. So, here directly I will be coming to a few frequently asked questions that I've seen in a lot of interview. Like interviewer is very much interested to know those answers. So we'll quickly start with those questions. Okay. So the first question on your screen, which is there, how do you ensure that the data population is accurate before you begin any analysis? Now, this is a very generic question, guys. This you will see in all kind of domain, like it is not specific to few domain. This you may face like at the start of the interview, where interview want to know that suppose if you are starting your analysis on any population, like as an auditor, we always do our audit based on the samples, guys, correct? Now suppose if I am doing an audit of user access management, in the user access management I have to take out some samples, correct? So the question here is whatever population you are getting, how do you will ensure that the population is accurate? Okay. Or he may ask you this question in this way: could you please tell me how to determine if the change population is accurate or complete? So here he has asked you about the change population. Change population means, guys, our change management domain, correct? If the auditing must have provided you a CR dump, how you will validate that the CR dump is accurate and it is complete? So that is very important before we start our analysis. Now let me help you. How would you answer this question? Okay. How would you answer this question? So first you need to tell, whenever I get a population, I will try to ask the auditee, can you please provide me the view access in the application? Can you please provide me the view access in the application? For example, if auditee have provided me a change request dump, and if they are using any application, for example, they are using a ServiceNow application, which is a ticketing based tool for managing the change request. Okay. And Audity have provided me the dump of the service now, or which is a change request. So I will ask the view access in the application. Once I get a view access in the application, as an auditor, I can also select the appropriate period. I will go to the service now and I will select the appropriate period. For example, if I am doing it for April 2023 to 31st March 2024, so I will select that period in the application and I will see what is the total count of change request into the application. If it is showing it is for example 138, and the data which Audity have provided is also 138. So with the help of this, I can ensure that okay, the whatever population that Audity has given to me, that was the correct, because I was having a view access. Correct. So this is a one way of doing it. Now sometime what happens, guys, Audity may not provide you a view access in their application. Not necessary that they will be agree to provide you a view access. In that case, what will you do? In that case, the alternative approach would be, you will ask an auditee to extract the data in front of you. Extract the data in front of you. That can you please log in into your CR application, and can you please extract the data in front of me so that I can ensure the data is accurate and data is complete. There is no modification in the data. So this is a second way of doing it. Correct, guys? That you can ask an auditee to extract the data in front of you. And suppose if you ask me a third way like maybe while reviewing the change request dump, if you noted that there were some changes during the financial year. I will just give you one example based on my past experience. I was auditing one of the ERP application. Okay. In ERP application, what happened? There was change in the tax rate, change in the GST rate or tax rate, you may say, that government have changed the GST rates from some period. Okay, for example, government have changed the rate from April 2024. Now, if they want to change, suppose if GST is automatically calculated in ERP application, they have to change this particular rate in the ERP application. For that, they have to raise a CR, correct? So since I was aware about one activity which was there in the financial year, so I may check while checking a CR dump. Obviously, I will check for this particular instances where for this particular instances the CR was raised or not. If it is raised, it is giving me a confidence that yes, it is like a complete. So okay, you have a guys this two ways. First way is what? You will ask an auditee to provide you a view access in the application. They will provide you the view access. This is the best way to ensure that okay, the data is accurate and complete. Second is what? You can ask an auditee to extract the data in front of you. This is the second way. Okay. Third way, suppose if you are aware about some non-changes which needs to be done or which was done in the past, you can track those changes in your CR dump, which will give you a clarity that whether the population was correct or not. And this I have explained you more from the change population. I may explain you this from the another way, like we can discuss this particular thing with the user access management as well, guys. Correct. Now, suppose in the user access management, they have provided you a dump list of new joinee or list of employees who have left. Now you want to ensure whether that dump is accurate and complete or not. So you will check that in the HRMS application, correct? Whether the data is extracted from the HRMS applications or not. In the HRMS application, how many count is coming? Okay. You may, while suppose doing an audit, if you come to know that there was a employee uh, uh, which was dealing with you previously, but as of now he is not there. So maybe you can check that particular employee in the dump, correct? Whether that person have left as per the list of employee who have left during the audit period provided by the auditing. So this is just a way. These are the various method through which you can ensure that your population is accurate and it is complete. I hope this is clear to everyone. I hope this particular question is clear to everyone. How to answer this question? So you have to give them like 2, 3 scenarios so that the interviewer will understand that yes, guys have done audit previously. You know how to get a comfort on the population. Is this clear to everyone? Is this question is clear to everyone? Any query, any doubt in this, you can ask. Yeah. Fine. Anyone who have faced this question in the interview? Anyone who have faced this question in the interview, guys? I believe this is very popular question. Anyone who have faced this particular question during the interview? Okay. Okay. Somebody was raising a hand. Yeah, tell me. Have you faced this question during the interview? Or do you have any query or doubt? You are not audible. Okay. Okay. Let me move to the next question, guys. Now, next question. Which population will you consider? I would say this is a very frequently asked question in the interview, guys. Which population will you consider more reliable? The application generated dump or the dump inserted from a CR tool? So this question again they are asking you from which domain, guys? They are asking you this question from the change management or change management domain. In this question, they are asking you that suppose you have a two option to extract the CR dump. One, you can extract this data directly from the application. For example, if there is an SAP application. In SAP application also there is a T code through which you can extract the list of changes which are carried out in the SAP application. And suppose second way is what organization was using a some CR tool like previously I have mentioned about a service now. Right? This is a tool which they are using for the purpose of managing a change request. Okay. So here they want to know which which population would be more reliable, whether the data extracted from application directly or whether the data extracted from a CR tool. I just wanted to know your opinions as well, guys, in this question. Can you please tell me which one would be more reliable for you and why? Let's discuss this. Can you please tell me? Suppose if I have given you this scenario that you have a two option, either you can extract a dump from the application or second way is from a CR tool. Which one is more reliable? Can any one of you please tell me?
SAP tool.
Okay, and can you tell me why so? Why so? Suppose if interviewer have asked you why SAP is more reliable.
It is a advanced tool where it will give you the complete extract rather than the service mail. Yep.
Okay, what about others? Any other any other answers?
So
Yeah,
very recently, actually, I faced this question. Uh,
Okay, Monica.
I think I can answer it. The intent-based service now is where we are logging the change request, right? So if
Okay,
there are malicious intent, then the change might have happened, but the request, there are chances that the request is not logged in the tool. But in the other thing, we are getting the list of changes, like what all changes has happened. So the other application would be more reliable. Like what all changes have happened, it would be there rather than going and logging it somewhere in the tool.
perfect answer, guys. A perfect answer, Monica. Okay, Syed, you have raised your hand. Tell me quickly.
Yes, Ashad. This is actually from since the SAP T code is this is the changes came from natively from the application or okay, but the CR
Perfect.
tool that mean we are still relying on some manually or some non-natively to the
Perfect.
application, which is increase the possibility of the mistakes or faults or errors.
Perfect. Perfect answer, guys. So, how would you answer this question? You have to answer in this manner only. Since the data which is extracted directly from the application, in that case, there are very less chances of error, human error, or the modification. Because in SAP, there is a functionality, even if you do a small changes, those changes would be logged. Okay. For that, we also need to ensure whether the logging is enabled for the changes or not. Correct. For that, you will check their SM19 or SM20 table, okay, where you will make sure that okay the logging was enabled. If logging is enabled, each the changes will be automatically logged in the application. So if data is extracted directly from the application, that data is more reliable because there is less human intervention. Okay. Whereas suppose if I take a dump of a CR, in CR somebody have to log in manually and he has to raise a ticket. So in this case, there are chances of human error. Human may, for example, if there are few changes for which there was no ticket raised, so that you will never find in the CR tool, whereas you will find that in the application because that is an automated process. So you have to answer this question like this, where you will say that the population or the data which is generated automatically through the application, that would be more reliable as compared to dump which was inserted from the CR tool. And you have to give the reasoning that since it was a manual automated process, less chances of human error. That is the reason I am saying that it is a more reliable. Is this clear to everyone? Second question is clear to everyone. Any query, any doubt in this, you can ask. Is this clear?
Clear, yes.
Yeah. Perfect, guys. Now, next question on your screen. Again, this is a very tricky one. Okay, let me ask you guys. Suppose you are an auditor, and if I am asking you, can you give me a list of common control which is common in the user access management as well as change management? Okay. Uh, Common in the user access management and the change management. So can you tell me guys list of control which are common in both the domain based on your experience and the knowledge? Can you tell me the common controls between two domain? Here interviewer want to test your knowledge between these two domains, and he also want to see that how good you are in understanding the control and relating to each of this control with the risk. Because here if you understand the controls from the risk perspective, that what controls have been implemented to mitigate what risk, then you can relate that okay, those controls are common. So you tell me guys, what are the common controls? Somebody have raised the hand. Can you tell me the common controls between the change management and user access management? Tell me.
Approved list of the
Your voice is bit low if you are saying something.
approved list of the user's access and the approved changes.
Approved list of what? Approved list of
The user's access.
user access.
Yes, the user access list and the
Okay.
approved changes.
Approved changes. So you are saying that both are the common controls? Both are the
Yes,
common controls. So here you
yes,
want to say that common control is what? Approval process. That in user access management, in order to create any users, you will require an approval. And in this change management, in order to create any CR, you require an approval. So here you are saying that the approval process is a common control. Am I right? This is what you are saying?
yes. Approval
Okay.
process.
Approval process. Understood. Very good. What about others? What about others? Can you tell me a few more instances? Yes, Syed, tell me.
I do believe, Mr. Session, least privilege, need to knows, separation,
Perfect. Okay,
the
perfect.
separation of duties. These all
Perfect.
are these things that we can consider.
Very good. These are the controls which are common in all, I would say, all the domains. Whether it is a change management, user access management, whether it is your incident management. Okay. So Syed have mentioned about least privilege. Okay. We may call it as an SOD, segregation of duty. SOD, somebody have asked me in the chat, SOD means what? So SOD means what? Segregation of duty. What is BIBA? What is BIBA? I don't understand this. Okay, so this is the first control which we can say it would be common. Now let me explain you what is this control. Principle of a least privilege, segregation of duty. I may call it as a role based access control. So as per this control, we need to provide access to the users based on their roles. Okay, suppose if I am a manager, so generally I am looking after some application and I am the application owner. So in the change management tool, they will give me the right of a checker. Okay. Then somebody would be the maker. So based on their roles, based on their job responsibility, I have given them the privilege rights. I have given them the role. So this applies to the change management. Similarly, it applies to the user access management as well, where somebody will create a request for somebody will raise a request for creating a ID. For example, HR. Whenever employee will join, HR will raise a request. So HR is a maker. Then the department head where the person is joining, he would be checker. He would provide their approval. So we are segregating their duties based on their roles. So this is the one control which is common in both user access management as well as change management. Correct? Correct, guys? This control is clear to everyone.
Yes.
This control is clear. Okay. Somebody have raised the hand. Can you tell me any query, any doubt you have? Do you have any query or doubt? Read up, write down. Okay. Need to know as a control as well. Okay, perfect. Now let me explain you the second control, guys. Second control, I would say a generic ID management. This is also common control. I would say again, this is a common control in lot of domain, whether it is a change management, whether it is your user management, whether it is your incident management, whether it is your backup or restoration. Generic ID management we have to do. Now let me explain you what is the meaning of a generic ID. So generic IDs are the ID for which there is no ownership assigned. What is a generic ID? Generic IDs are ID for which there is no ownership assigned. Those are called as a generic ID. So those ID needs to be managed properly. For example, in change management application or tool, you have one ID which is called as a system 123. If no ownership has been assigned to this ID, then it is called as a generic ID. And what is the risk associated in case of generic ID? Can any one of you please tell me, guys? What is the risk associated?
There is no accountability.
Cannot log the account, like who made the changes.
Accountability is not there.
Accountability.
Perfect answer. Okay. Lack of accountability would be there in case of a generic ID. Okay. So we need to review the entire dump of a change application. How many users are there? Is there any generic ID? If so, whether the ownership have been assigned. If ownership is not assigned, it is like a query. Correct? It is like a query. So I will check this particular control. Same goes with the user access management. I will take out a dump. I will see whether all the users are there with their individual ID. If there is generic ID, whether the ownership have been assigned or not. And somebody have rightly pointed out that logging is also common control in the both. Yes, logging is also there. Okay. Logging or I would say a log management will be there in both the domains. So this is also a common control. Okay. So likewise, we need to answer our query. Can you please tell me the difference between generic user ID and privilege ID? Rahul, what happens is generic ID can be the privilege ID also. For example, system 123. Suppose if you have assigned an admin role to this ID, Rahul, we have to see the role. In order to check the privilege, Rahul, we always need to see what roles have been given to the user. If you are giving an admin role, okay, or the roles which are not given to the normal user, okay, so those are called as a privileged user. What is the meaning of privilege, Rahul? Privilege means something extra from the normal user. For example, in SAP application, if you are a normal user, you can do your day-to-day related task. Maybe you can create a voucher, you can approve a voucher, you can create an entry, you can download certain reports as a normal user. But when I say that you have a super user access in the SAP application, or I would say that you have a privileged access in the SAP application, in that case, You can do certain configuration level changes. You can add a user, you can delete a user, you can assign a role. So privilege, in order to check the privilege, we have to see what roles assigned to the user. If there are any generic ID to which the admin roles are assigned, then the generic ID would be treated as a privileged ID. Okay, Rahul? If no admin roles have been assigned, then it is called as a normal generic ID. Okay, and privilege ID can be the generic ID can be the privilege ID as well, or privilege ID can be tagged to normal user account also. Okay, Rahul, clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Okay, guys. So this is about this question where we have discussed the name of controls, like two controls I have mentioned and three controls our participants have also mentioned, which you can very validly put the same. Okay. Yeah, Sayed, please tell me.
Mr. Shashan, when we can consider the generic ID to be as a audit observation?
We can consider generic ID as an observation only in case where ownership have not been assigned. For example, in the user dump, you have found one ID, which is a system123. Okay, this was there in your user dump. Then what will you do, guys? Having a generic ID is not a directly observation, correct? Suppose if you say system123, you cannot say to the auditee boss, this is an observation. No. Sometimes what happens in the applications, there are certain ID which cannot be deleted. There are certain ID which are being used for the troubleshooting. So we cannot say that there should not be any generic ID. There are some generic ID for the business reason. So first I will identify the generic ID. Now suppose if I have identified based on my review that there are three generic ID. Then what is my next step as an auditor? I will ask an auditee that, boss, have you assigned an ownership for this ID or not? When I say a system123, if any transaction passed from system123, who would be held accountable for the same? Auditee is telling me that, boss, the ownership of this ID have been assigned to Sayyad. Okay, so while creating an ID, we have given an ownership to Sayyad. If any transaction passed from system123, Sayyad is accountable. So he will show me some email approval, okay, mentioning that, okay, this generic ID is tagged to Sayyad. Maybe he will show me some ticket where it is mentioned that, okay, Sayyad is accountable for that ID. So that means generic ID is there, ownership is also assigned. It is not an observation. If you found that there is no ownership assigned to that ID, okay, three people are using the same without proper approval mechanism, then it is an observation. Okay, is this clear?
Thank you. Yes, clear.
Perfect, guys. So this is about the second question. Now, third question, which I have taken based on your comments and based on your review, like when we conducted our last webinar for the interview, a lot of people have asked me what is the meaning of TAT and what is a DR site. I would say this is a very basic question, okay, but still we will discuss. So DR means what? What is the meaning of DR site? DR site means what? Disaster recovery site. Okay, DR site means what? Disaster recovery site. Okay, disaster recovery site. So in order to continue the business, organization will be having one primary site and one DR site. Okay, sometime what will happen, I have seen that auditee may tweak this question in such a manner that, suppose you are auditor, okay, and you are presenting your report to the board of director. When you are presenting a report to the board of director, there are some people who are not very technically sound, who are not very good in understanding the technical terminology like BCP and DR. So how you will, how you will, how you will explain those observation to them? What would be your approach? How you will explain them the technology? So suppose in this question, if I have to explain you the BCP and DR from the layman language perspective, from the common man's perspective, suppose if you are not very familiar with the technology, how I will explain you the BCP DR? So let me explain you guys. Okay. For example, guys, this is your shop. What is this? This is your shop. From here, you are selling your grocery product. Okay, this is your shop. Now what happened? There was fire in the shop. Due to fire, there was too much loss in the shop. Like you have lost your entire furniture, feature, everything. Okay, stock, everything. Everything was lost. So basically, this shop have been shut down. So what you have done instantly after the fire, like on the next working day, you have bought some product, and nearby shop your home is also there. So you have started selling product from your home. You have started selling product from your home. Now whatever you are doing in the technological term, we may call it as a BCP or DR. Tell me guys, what is this? This is a BCP. This is a business continuity planning. Okay, suppose if my shop is not accessible, how will I continue my business? This is what the BCP is, correct, guys? Suppose if your primary infrastructure is not available, be it your office, be it your primary data center, okay? If it is not accessible, how you will continue the business? That is called as a BCP. Now, what is a DR, guys? Disaster recovery. What is an objective of disaster recovery? Disaster recovery's objective is to re-establish the primary site into the production. So basically, till the time I will continue my business here from like 2-3 days, I will continue. Simultaneously, other team will be working on the shop. They will try to fix the furniture, feature, lighting related work. Okay. And accordingly, they will fix this primary site. Once the primary site is fixed, again I will start selling my product from here. So the objective of DR is what? Objective of DR is to recover recover the primary site into the operation. Like we have discussed this particular example with non-technical terms, correct? Now let me explain you in the technical term. For example, your primary data center is there where your entire infrastructure is hosted. Suppose hacker have done any hacking activity due to which primary infrastructure is not available. For that only, organization would be having a DR site, which is called as an alternative site. So someone from IT team will do the switch over and their entire infrastructure would be shifted from a primary site to a secondary site. Okay. And they will continue their business from the secondary site. Meantime, the IT team will work on the repair of the primary site. Once this is done, they will do again a switch back. So that is what the DR is. That is what the objective of DR. And we have also discussed the difference between BCP and DR. And we have also discussed that how to present those technical stuffs to a board member in the easy manner or in the easy language so that they can relate to those terminology. Is this clear to everyone, guys? BCP, DR, objective and all. This is clear. This is clear to everyone. Any query, any doubt here? Okay. So DR site is
Sachin,
clear. Now what is...
can you explain with the one more example?
Okay. Vandana, for example, what is happening? Suppose you are logging to a Flipkart, correct? Now here, Flipkart website is hosted somewhere on the servers, correct? They have hosted this website somewhere on their server. So that is their primary site. Okay. As of now, suppose the website is hosted on the primary site, correct? Servers are there at a primary site and their website is hosted. Now, suppose some hacker have done a DDoS attack on the server, due to which your primary site is not available. Now, what will you do? You will do the switch over. This website, which was hosted on the primary site, I will do the switch over and I will host this particular website on my DR site, correct? This is my DR site where I will host this particular website. If I give you another example, for example, Vandana, currently you are staying in your home, correct? Now,
Yes.
suppose if there is a pandemic situation and if you have to go to your mother's home, so you may call it as a that suppose this was a pandemic situation in my city, so I am going to some my parents' home. So your parents' home, like your alternative site, correct, where you can go and you can live. So that is your alternative site. So same works in the IT also. You have some primary site. If it is not working, you have provisioned some secondary site, which is your DR site, where you can shift for a time being. Okay, till the time the disaster, is corrected, and then again you come to your primary site. This is how it works. That is the purpose of having a DR. Okay,
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
clear? Perfect, guys. Now, what is a TAT? Guys, have you come across this terminology? Very common term. TAT. Can you tell me what is a TAT?
Turnaround time.
Turnaround time. Okay. Turnaround time. Okay. So basically, as an auditor, we should understand the meaning of TAT. TAT means turnaround time. So generally, what happens is in the organizations, whatever their SOPs and their policies are, they define some turnaround time. If suppose interviewer asking, can you give me some example for turnaround time from the IT perspective or from any domain of an ITGC? Guys, can you give me some example for that?
Uh, how much time it will take from to like primary site will be come up?
So
That
it is RTO basically. It is RTO. Okay, whatever you are mentioning from primary to DR. Basically, it is an recovery time objective. That example you can easily give from the incident. For example, we defined a turnaround time for the response. Correct. Once the incident is raised, in what time you need to respond. So there are turnaround time for the responses. There are turnaround time for the resolution. Okay, so generally the response and resolution turnaround times are defined, and there are many more example in change management ticket. Also, you can define a timeline that by when the changes would be completed and all. Correct. So TAT means what? Defining a timeline, turnaround time to do some activity is a TAT. Okay, clear? This is clear to everyone.
So I have a follow-up question on this.
Yeah, Monica, tell me.
So when the pandemic hit and and people are like asked to work from home, so will this
Correct.
be considered as a scenario of business continuity or a
Perfect.
disaster?
This is an example of BCP. Okay. Now in the example of BCP, what assumptions we have tested here? Suppose if office is not available. Okay. See, when we do a BCP, Monica, we test the various scenario: absence of people, absence of process, absence of technology. Correct. So
Yes.
in this, what assumptions I have taken? Suppose if my office is not accessible, office is not accessible, then I would be doing a work from home. Okay, so this is how I will continue my business. Here I have tested the assumptions that office is not accessible. Correct. Okay, when I say a DR means what? When you are logging from your work, when you are logging, is my screen is visible? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm telling you, suppose when you are doing a work from your home, in that case also the entire infrastructure is hosted on the primary site only. Correct. They have not tested that capability. Suppose if primary site is not available, how you will continue from DR? So for that they will make a separate scenario. Suppose where the servers are hosted, if those servers are not accessible, then how I will continue the business. Correct. So likewise, there would be a different scenarios through which BCP and DR's capabilities are being tested. But doing a work from home is a perfect example of BCP testing, continuation of the business in this scenario. Okay.
Okay. And also, I was once asked, like in case of BCP and DR, out
Okay.
of people, process, and technology, which takes the priority?
Basically, people is always on a topmost priority. Monica, for example, the yeah, this is also very common thing. Suppose if somebody is asking you, you are in the office and there was a sudden fire, you have a two options. One, you can take out a laptop where very critical customer sensitive data are there, we don't have a backup, and there on the another hand you have a people. Okay, so which will you say first? So obviously people. Okay, when it comes to the continuity, the priority is being given to the people and the human life, okay, over anything else, whether it is a process or technology. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, clear. Is TAT and RTOs are same? No, Daniel. TAT and RTOs are totally different. RTOs and RPO is the terminology which we use in the BCP and DR. Okay. So when we discuss the BCP and DR, in the BCP DR there is a first we do a BIA, which is a business impact analysis. As a part of BIA, we determine an RPO RTO, which is a totally different from your TAT. Turnaround time is a very generic terminology, Daniel. Okay, it is different from your RTO. Okay, clear.
Alternate name is SLA.
SLA of what?
TAT.
TAT.
Yes.
SLAs includes lot of other thing, Babu. Okay. SLA will include, for example, if I say in case of AWS, there was an SLA related to downtime, correct? That suppose if our uptime is below 99.9%, okay, then we will give you some service credit, correct? Those are SLAs. So SLAs can be defined in various other parameters. Generally, when we say TAT, Babu, TAT is mainly related to some duration, correct? TAT is something which is related to the duration, that boss, you have to do this particular things within this duration. Otherwise, we may escalate or we may take some further action. So TAT is related to the duration, and SLA can be depend on the various things. It depends on the services basically. Okay. So again, I would say TAT and SLA would differ. Terminology is different. Both are different. Okay. For example, this is also an example of SLA where they are giving you a uptime percentage guarantee of 99.9%. This is the SLA, correct? This is the service level agreement. Okay, Babu, clear?
Um,
Yes.
could you please reiterate like how TAT is different from RTO?
It would be a lengthy process, Monica.
Okay.
Like RTO, I will tell you, RTO is basically how much downtime an organization can afford in case of disaster.
Hmm.
So this is a technical terminology where we will reach out to the business process owner. We will understand what is their dependency on the process, on the application. Then he will say that, okay, we can afford a downtime of, 2 hour, 3 hour. So this is an entire process where we do a detailed BIA, and as a result of BIA, we identify the RTO, RPO. Maybe
Okay.
I will take this in some other,
No, I
sessions
wanted to
where.
understand then what do we do in case of TAT then? That was a bit confusing for me, which is why I asked.
Yeah, TAT is very simple. TAT is a terminology which is related to the duration. Okay. Why I'm saying that both are different? See, in the RTO also we calculate the duration only, correct? That I can afford a downtime of 3 hours, but
Hmm.
I cannot say that this 3 hours is my TAT. I have to say this is my RTO, because when it will be called as an RTO, that means that you have to restore your business within a 3 hours. Okay.
Okay.
So
And
you may call it as that your RTO is 3 hours, and you cannot call that 3 hours is my TAT.
then
Uh,
what could be TAT? I mean, what duration? What is the duration here we are seeing for in TAT?
TAT, so basically, TAT means what? Uh, it is a generic word. Okay, generic word related to duration. Here also it is duration, but when we say RTO, it is specifically related to recovering your business.
Yes.
Okay, it is specifically relating to recovering your business, that you have to recover your business within a 3 hours. So you may call it as, you may read this statement like this, that we can, the TAT for recovering the business is 3 hours, and it is called as an RTO basically. I'm just telling you that RTO and TAT are different. You cannot use those interchangeably. You cannot say that my TAT is 3 hours. Okay. Then it is very incomplete. TAT for what? Correct. If I say my TAT is 3 hours, so then they will ask you TAT for what?
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. So when we say RTO means what? That how much time you will take to recover the business. Okay. Or what is your acceptable downtime? I can accept a downtime of 3 hours, and then I have to recover my business. So that is why I'm telling you RTO is different from a TAT. Okay. Okay. That is why I'm telling you RTO is different from a TAT. Okay. TAT is basically completion of time, arrival time. Yeah, perfect. Basically related to duration. Okay. Here also duration is there, but when I say RTO, it totally related to organization's downtime. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Clear, guys? This is clear. This is clear to everyone. Can we move to the next question? Okay. Perfect. Now, next question is again a situational based question, guys. Okay. Where you have to answer based on your experience, past experience. They're asking you, tell me a situation where you have to meet a deadline during audit. Like if you are appearing for IT audit or IS audit. In audit, guys, this is I would say, most difficult situations for you being an auditor, okay, where you have to complete a project within some times. Suppose you have started an audit on a 1st May, and audit is saying that you have to do the audit 31st May. By 31st May, in a 1 month, you have to complete a audit. So they here interviewer want to check that in order to meet a timeline, what efforts you have taken. So you may answer this question like this, that yes, there was 2, 3 situations where we have to deal with a very tight timelines. We were doing some project, maybe IT audit, IS audit, cybersecurity audit, where the audit have been assigned to us little bit delay. There was delay in assigning an audit. Then we started on our audit. I was working on 2 engagement. Okay. And both the engagement, for both the engagement, the timelines were very tight. So we have now how you have come up, how you have solved this situation. This is what you have to communicate to the interviewer. So you may tell him that, okay, I have done some extra time, or I have done some work for overtime. Okay, we have work in a team where we have assigned each and every task to our team member. While doing an audit, we were very sure that what controls needs to be checked. Accordingly, we have asked the relevant artifacts, and then we have evaluated those artifacts in order to reduce a turnaround time for discussion. We went to the auditees place. We have directly discussed our queries with them. Correct. So likewise, you just need to explain that situation, and it will differ people to people, guys. Correct. And based on your situation, at the end, you have to give the positive outcome to the interviewer. Basically, okay, you have to tell him that, okay, this was the situation. I met a timeline by taking this efforts. Correct. I have worked in a team. I have worked some overtime. I make sure that all the uh, there was some background noise. Okay. So you have to tell them the pointer like this, guys. Okay. That this is what you have done. You have worked in a team, you have worked some overtime. Okay. And you have planned your audit in a structured way. You have asked all the relevant evidences, and whatever steps you have taken, you just need to explain those steps, and at the end how you have achieved and how you have met the timeline, so that it gives a positive impression to an interviewer that yes, you can work in the tight situation, you can work in the situations where the time is less, and still you have to complete the task. So basically this is the answer. If anyone else want to add something here based on your experience, you can add.
Sachin, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah. Actually, like, uh, if auditor has sent some requirement list, and
Yeah,
auditee has sent all the list, all the required evidences, and
correct.
uh, one requirement is pending, and
Okay,
that is important. At that, in that scenario, what auditor will do, and auditee is not sending those evidences, and time is it is
okay,
almost completed. So at that time,
okay.
what
So
auditor will
basically,
do? Will they he
in in this case, you need to write that point in your report. Suppose if I have to submit a report by 31st May, today is the 30th May, okay, and still auditee have not provided you this data. This is what your query, correct? There was one critical data and that is
yes,
not
yes.
yet provided, and next day you have to submit a report. What will you do in this situation? Okay, so again, this can be a situation based question, guys. So now in this case, what will you do as an auditor? So in this case, as an auditor, your responsibility is to highlight the same in your report. You will highlight this point in the report, maybe as a disclaimer, maybe as a note. Okay. Or suppose if this data point is related to some area, suppose if it is related to change management, and then there was some observation in the change management. So in that observation section itself, I will highlight. Now what will I will write? I will write, during the audit we have asked one data request. For example, this is a change request dump, which is very critical for me to assess the entire change management process. So during the audit period, we have asked for the change request dump, and however, the change request dump was not provided to us. Okay. Uh, till the time we have completed our execution. In the absence of data, we were unable to comment on the change management process effectiveness and efficient, whether the process was effective and whether it was effectively implemented during the audit period. So you just need to write that comment that we are unable to do any comment on this particular area, on this particular data point, in the absence of evidences. So you need to highlight that as a disclaimer so that whosoever is a reader of your report, they will get a clarity that you have not verified that aspect. Correct? Okay. So you need to highlight that as a appropriate disclaimer or note.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And before that, also, before that, so guys, uh, I will share you one, this Excel sheet as well. That Excel sheet would be useful for you to track your entire audit. Okay. For example, here somebody have asked that their auditee was doing a delay in data providing. So I have one format of an Excel sheet. Maybe I will take this particular question in our next webinar, where I would be providing you one Excel sheet which will help you to track your entire audit, starting from the date when you have raised the data requirement till the date when you have received the data. If there was a delay, that delay was also calculated. So I will explain you this in our some next webinar, definitely. Okay, we'll discuss this in detail. Yeah, Vandana, tell me.
Yeah, just I want to ask the scenario what I faced during audit. So can
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ask that? Yeah.
yeah, please, please.
So when I was auditing related to the internal audit, so I came to know that still those internal whatever observations
Okay,
are not taken up from the internal audit, and they have not there were no NCs, but there were some observation from the internal audit, but those are not taken up in any way. Even the dates are closing dates are not mentioned over there. So in such cases,
okay.
it can be the NC or the apostrophe for improvement.
No, no,
How it has to.
it will be NC. Like if I got your question properly, Vandana, you are saying that you have done some audit,
Yeah.
or maybe some internal audit team have done some audit. They have identified 2, 3 observations, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Generally, whenever we find an observation, we have to give a turn, like time,
Correct. Yes.
that I would be closing this observation by December 24 or whatever. Then we do a
Correct.
follow-up audit as well to make sure that the same have been closed or not, correct? Now,
Yep.
now in your case, the timelines are not there. There were an
Yeah.
observation, the timelines are not there, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when next year you will do the audit, obviously you will first check whether those findings are closed or not. If it is an open, if those are not closed, again you need to highlight this observation and you will write that this is a repeated observation from last year. So if
No,
you write, yeah,
I'm the external auditor, and
okay,
internal auditor has done his part, and he has
okay,
raised some observation. Being an external auditor, I
you
saw
can,
that they have
yeah,
not resolved those observations, or even there is a no timeline given for that. And
then
auditee has mentioned that they got the report, internal audit report, recently, because when management review happens, that time even internal audit report has to be, the whatever corrective actions has to be discussed and everything, but those steps have not completed before the external audit. So
then
in such
also,
case, yeah.
as an external auditor, see, I will also highlight. It is not a case if suppose something has been already highlighted by internal auditor, I will not highlight. See, if it is there in my scope, Vandana, whether auditee have, whether auditee have found those issue, whether internal auditor have found those issue, or whether I have found the issue, I need to document in my report. Okay. You auditee, suppose if putting this argument that internal auditor have already highlighted the issue, you please do not report. So you cannot take this argument into the consideration. Although it is highlighted by an internal auditor, if you are writing your report, you also need to highlight. Correct?
Yeah, this I understood. Like, my question is like, if corrective action has not taken place, so I should raise it as a opportunity
NC
for
only.
improvement
No,
or
no.
NC.
I will say an observation only. Na?
Okay.
Opportunity of improvement when we will write Vandana, when we'll write an opportunity of improvement when the risk is very low. Okay.
Hmm.
Compensating controls are there. Risk is very low. As an auditor, I feel that it is a small documentational error, or like, the risk perspective. If I am seeing that risk is low in this scenario, in those cases, only I highlight those points as an OFI, opportunity for improvement, as a recommendation. Correct?
Okay.
Okay. So in those cases, only I highlight those. If there are some points where there is a risk, and the risk is also like, a high medium, then obviously that is an observation. It has nothing to do with the OFI or recommendation. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Clear, guys. So these are some of the questions, which we have discussed in today's webinar. Okay. I will plan another webinar, guys, because I would say that this is a very good question which somebody have raised. Okay, so I will plan another webinar where I will be telling you that, suppose if somebody have asked you how to track your audit observation, how to track your entire audit in a single sheet. So I will provide you that free template as well. Okay. So I will prepare a template and give you a free template, an Excel template, which will be helpful for you to track your entire audit engagement, starting from the day when you raise a data requirement till the time when the audit is sharing your data. Okay. So that I will provide you definitely, guys. Okay. So basically that is all for our today's discussion, guys. And in case if you have any other queries or any other doubt, you can ask. And if you have not attended to our previous interview webinar, so maybe I will provide you a link here in the chat, and then you can check out that video as well. Okay. Please add me to this session. Okay.